I heard anything from your side.
Yeah.
There's a page below, Tom, that you can push to make it go up.
Calling the Committee of the Whole meeting of August 13th, 2024 to order with the roll call.
Jordan,
Here.
Justice, Lewis,
Here.
Nelson, Robinson,
Here.
Silver,
Here.
Ursu.
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilwoman Justice. So move.
Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Ursu.
Has anyone heard from Councilwoman Nelson?
I believe she's going to be here.
Why did you believe that?
Earlier in the week. It sounded like she wasn't going anywhere. I know she had the anniversary party, but that's over with, so she can't be at that.
She was just excused her, Todd, or what she was?
She probably would have called you, or
Yeah, I didn't get no call.
He's not here. I mean, if she's not here, you gotta excuse her.
Okay, we'll keep moving. All right. Motion for the acceptance of the previous council of the whole meeting minutes from July 23rd, 2024. So move.
Second.
Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Ursu.
yes,
Motion for the acceptance of the consent agenda items as they appear on the current agenda. So move.
Second.
Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Ursu.
yes.
Sorry, who was that second? You did. Thank you.
There is currently no unfinished business, which is good. I mean, we're moving along. We'll go to new business.
Ordinance number 112-2024, introduced by Council President Jordan and Mayor Thomas, first reading. An ordinance amending Chapter 1123, definitions of the Planning and Zoning Code to add a definition of adult use cannabis operators and enacting new Section 1125.11 of Chapter 1125, Districts and Map of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Richmond Heights to prohibit adult use cannabis operators in the city.
This is an ordinance that we feel is necessary in our city currently, as the growing demand from different people for these cannabis stations. We feel at this time it's best for our city to prohibit the use until we can further investigate this. Do you have any input, Mayor?
I do, President. I just want to give you a little data. And so, Councilman, I respect your passion about moving forward. But I do want us to be crystal clear when we talk about issue 1 and issue 2. Issue 1 passed 77.79%. The same issue was on the ballot with issue 2 that passed 64%. And so I'm just hoping that issue 1 was the reproductive rights for women. 77.79% passed in the state of Ohio. So this is not a Richmond Heights issue. Issue 2 is not a Richmond Heights issue. Issue 1 and 2 is a state issue. And so what we have in front of us is the data from the voters from Richmond Heights. Let's be clear. This is Richmond Heights, not the state of Ohio. And what they voted was to legalize marijuana in the state of Ohio. So we're not talking about these numbers reflecting a dispensary in Richmond Heights. And I know that's where your head was going. The voters voted 64% that they wanted marijuana in Richmond Heights. 66% of the voters said, yes, we approve of recreational marijuana. They didn't say 66 approved of having a dispensary in Richmond Heights. That's where we differ at. But I do want you to know, and this body to know, I do support business growth in Richmond Heights. But do not get it confused that because the residents voted 64% in Richmond Heights, that they're saying 64 of the residents want a dispensary in Richmond Heights. But I think it's important that we do our due diligence and put this in the hands of our residents and let them be the voice of it too. Also, allow them to have their input, and allow this body and our administration to do our due diligence. And so, again, these numbers don't reflect a dispensary in Richmond Heights. That's kind of misleading. These numbers reflect
I disagree.
the voters.
I disagree.
And so what was on the ballot was issue 1 and issue 2. Issue 1 and issue 2. One had 77.79%, and the other one had 69%, 1 second. And so this is saying, and that wasn't a local issue, that was a state issue. And so what I'm saying is these numbers tell us that the residents in Richmond Heights definitely approved of recreation marijuana. Did these numbers reflect that the residents, because it wasn't on the ballot that you're voting to bring a dispensary in Richmond Heights? Again, I'm not saying we don't want it. What I am saying is give our residents the opportunity to weigh in on this and let them be the decision makers. Yes, they voted 64% that recreation should be passed. In the state of Ohio, I think we're thinking too small and bringing it to the surface. Oh, the residents of Richmond Heights said 64%. We want dispensaries. That's inaccurate. So, and I'm hoping that this body see that issue 1 passed 77.79%, and I'm hoping that this body is just as passionate about reproductive rights and maybe having other facilities of reproductive rights right here in Richmond Heights. Now, I'll advocate for that.
Disagree, because the city of Richmond Heights and the citizens could have voted no for issue 2, but astronomically we voted 64% for marijuana. So what we're doing here is playing with what I would consider a double-edged sword. The voice of the people, the voting process for the people is to elect us to be the voice and amplify the voice of the community in our wards. And now for us to be able to take our positions on this panel for the vote of the people, but deny them the vote, the process of voting for marijuana in the city of Richmond Heights is kind of sort of to me as a undermine of democracy. And what we're going by undermining democracy is the people the process of voting has already been undertaken, and the people have already spoken at 64.3%. And what we're saying is we're denying the process of the vote. And if their vote is good enough to put us on this bench, then their vote is good enough to give us the authority to speak for them, to amplify their voices on wanting recreational marijuana. Now, in my shortcomings of being a councilman, there's only one other person that I know that do not respect the vote of the people, and his name is Donald Trump. He did not respect the process of the vote and created an insurrection in Washington, D.C. Now, what are we doing here to fight for democracy and the power of the vote in Kamala Harris when we're not fighting for the people's vote in Richmond Heights, who astronomically voted for change in this community and inviting marijuana? So I think that we are not at that point when we're undermining the democracy of the power of the vote. This is no longer a democracy, but it turns into a dictatorship. And the city of Richmond Heights has voted, and they could have easily said no to the state recreational marijuana. They could have said no to marijuana, period. But unfortunately, the city and the people of Richmond Heights, and as a legislator and as a voting community leader, It is my job as a legislator and a community leader to amplify the voices of my residents and community. And I've passed out literature of the data, and the data doesn't lie. These are the data of the Cuyahoga County boards of election. And in every across the state of all across the city of Richmond Heights, they voted astronomically over 60% of yes to marijuana. Now, that may have been dictated towards the state, but I don't really care about that because they could have also said no, period. But they voted yes, and the numbers are what the numbers are. And the people have already spoken in November. And so to keep going to them, aggravating them after they have ordained us to voice their opinions and amplify their voices, and to deny them the right or the process of vote is creating not a democracy, but a dictatorship. And once again, I argue that there's only one other person in this country who does not respect the process of elections and the process of votes, and his name goes by Donald Trump. And most of us in this particular chamber are fighting for that one particular reason. So if we're not fighting for the process of the vote and for democracy, and we're allowing the vote to not be seen, and we have been elected as representatives of this community to amplify our constituents and our residents' voices, then what are we fighting here for?
Mr. Councilman, Mr. President, can I
Yes,
weigh in a
go
little
ahead,
bit? Councilman, thank you for your words, and no one is disputing your words. What I am saying is, we agree with you. We want to have a dispensary in Richmond Heights. However, we want to make sure that we give our residents the opportunity to be on the same page. What we're saying is, we're not rushing anything. We want to do our research. No one rushing into anything. So again, I'm going to reiterate, the data that you showed from the Board of Election, there's two issues that was on the ballot. There was issue 1 and there was issue 2. Issue 1 in Richmond Heights, 77.79% of the voters passed it. In the state of Ohio is what they're voting for, issue 1 and issue 2. Mm-hmm. Issue 2 passed in Richmond Heights, 64% of recreational marijuana. So that's totally different what you're saying. The residents voted for recreational marijuana, but the voters didn't say, I want my 64% of the votes to don't do any research, do not allow me to weigh in on how I feel about opening up dispensaries in Richmond Heights. And so all we're saying, President Jordan and I, is do the research first to see if the residents, those 64%, would like to have a dispensary in Richmond Heights. What we're looking at is two different things right now.
No,
we're looking at
is
60.
What we're looking at is continued prohibition. And when
Councilman, can I finish? Because I didn't cut you off.
Okay.
So out of respect, could you please allow me to finish?
Yes.
But if you want to go ahead, go ahead.
I can't see a community voting at 64% and do not want marijuana. They had the opportunity. That is a 10-point difference from the main ballot, as in abortion rights. 10-point difference from wanting marijuana and abortions. Now, yes, true that people may have came out for that election for marijuana, for abortions, but they also at the same time voiced their opinion on marijuana. And we are undermining democracy by the people voting for recreational marijuana, and by us saying, no, you can't have marijuana, and the people has already voted in November, is creating, what we're doing is we're playing with a slippery slope, and that slippery slope is dictatorship. When someone votes, and now what we're doing is we are denying the process of the vote. And once you start denying the process of the vote and not taking the power of the people at hand already, then you're creating what we can only consider a dictatorship.
All right, if I could just chime in, and I don't know if I can make this
No,
any
you've made
clearer.
it pretty clear that you
70
saying it, but at the state level, Mayor, it passed.
Councilman.
Recreational marijuana passed at 57%, only 57%. And the city of Richmond Heights voted at 64%. So that's not a mistake. That's a fact.
Councilman,
Just finish my
Yes.
comment, and then
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it over to President and let the President turn it back over.
We're still
I
on
don't know if I can
112.
make this any more clear than I'm making it.
First one.
It's a state issue. It's not a local issue. When voters voted for issue 1 and issue 2, it was a state issue. It wasn't a local issue. So when residents voted 64% for issue 2, they voted
That's today.
for the passage of recreational marijuana in the state of Ohio. That had nothing to do with 64% of our residents wants to have a facility in Richmond Heights. So what we're asking is, we are still saying the same thing. We want to, I always say Richmond Heights is open for business. We welcome new businesses, but we also welcome the voice of our people, the voice of our residents. We want to make sure that we get their input, and more importantly, for them to weigh in. We understand 64% of our residents voted for recreational marijuana in the city. On that ballot was not, do you want to vote 64% to have a facility in your community? That's where we differ. And again, I'm going to speak. 77.79% in Richmond Heights voted for issue 1. So I'm just hoping that this body is just as passionate about reproductive rights as they are for recreational marijuana. So no one is depriving any voters, but I do want to listen to my residents, and that is why we're in the seat we're in right now. We don't make moves without getting community's input, and I think that's vital. And I rest my point.
Councilman Silver, did you have something to say?
Yes, I feel that let's get this to the residents. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
It's
But-
quite obvious no one
but-
does, because they've already chimed in on this
just
situation.
hold on. But it was for the state, to legalize it for the state.
It's one and the same.
No, it's not saying that they want.
It's truly almost one and the same.
Let's do this.
Let's just hold it
Let's
for
do this. It's time to vote.
Same.
Recommend to council.
second. Oh,
I will not vote for this.
This is on first reading, right?
Excuse me?
This is first reading?
Yes.
yeah. It's-
Go 3 readings?
It'll have to be
Yes, because you got to go to the commission of planning.
first reading. It has to
Planning
be
Commission.
referred to the Planning Commission for recommendation. Comes back. There has to be a public hearing on this because it is a zoning change. So there has to be a public hearing.
I'm sorry. What are we going to vote for? Are we voting for the continued prohibition, or are we voting for continuing or moving forward marijuana in the city of Richmond Heights?
This particular ordinance, which is 112,
Yes.
it is to prohibit adult cannabis businesses in the city. It's only going to be put on first reading at the regular meeting tonight and then referred to the Planning Commission. And this is the first time I've seen in all these years, we've had competing ordinances on the same evening. So your ordinance is next, and council will do what it wants to do in terms of moving it forward or not.
Well, so that's, Mr. President?
Yes.
So, Todd, could you explain then how 112 and 113, is 112 and 113 180-degree opposites, essentially?
112 is
Yes,
saying
I
no.
mean, the 113 is permitting it as a conditional use and permitting those types of businesses in various business districts, whether it's cultivation, processing, or dispensaries in various districts. So it would be, those would be conditional uses which conditional uses, if that were approved, would go through the planning commission and then come to council for final approval.
I would like to take 112 to council and then hold it at first reading and get 3 readings. Like Todd said, we'd have to take this to the planning commission, so it's steps that's involved. But we need to take this step here. Yes.
I know I came in late, so I apologize for being late. I was at the hospital with my family member. But in reference to 112,
113.
we're asking to take it to the planning commissioner, right?
That's prohibited.
To prohibit. Why didn't it go there first? Why are we doing it in the reverse, or is that
Oh, that's
something
not
normal?
That's not the process in our code.
So what's the
Everything starts
process?
with
What-
council, and if there's an amendment to the zoning code,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be referred to the planning commission for recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Recommendation then comes back to council. Council has to set a public hearing on it, and it can be passed on second reading or third reading. But there has to be a public hearing before action can be taken on it. And that public hearing is advertised. It's not just on an agenda, it's advertised as a public hearing.
Yes.
And then, so on 113, is that the same thing? It should be moved, it would go to the planning commission also?
If this council, in this committee of the whole, decides to move it to the regular meeting tonight for first reading, the same thing would happen, yes.
Yeah.
See what the vote.
Okay, roll call. Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
No.
Robinson,
No.
Silver,
Yes.
Ursu.
No.
So it stays on first reading?
It was 3 and 3.
It was 3-3? Doesn't move forward either way. We'll remind you, we still have a moratorium in place until October. So there won't be any businesses established between now and October, or any applications for those.
Excuse me. In the last committee meeting when we moved over to
Just, hold on. We're done with that. We're moving to ordinance number 113 now.
how can we be done with that when there's still an argument on the floor?
No, we voted. It's over with. We voted.
I'm moving forward to.
We voted.
All right.
Ordinance number 113-2024, introduced by Robinson. First reading, an ordinance amending Chapter 1123, definitions of the Planning and Zoning Code to add a definition of adult-use cannabis operators, amending Section 1151.03, permitted, conditional, and specifically prohibited uses, amending Section 1169.08, standards for specific conditional uses, and enacting new sections 1167.021 and 1171.021 of the codified ordinances of the City of Richmond Heights to conditionally permit adult-use cannabis operators.
Councilman?
I have submitted facts on allowing recreational marijuana in the city of Richmond Heights. I have put the safety benefits, the tax benefits of having recreational marijuana brought to this city. Like I said, the recreational marijuana can generate astronomical. There's no question about what it can bring to the city. And what recreational marijuana can also do for this city is to bring conditional of life. It can bring programs of conditional profits of life, as in these programs can be funded through recreational marijuana, through funding programs such as helping our seniors with their sidewalks being unleveled, to helping their seniors with cutting down trees, helping our seniors and creating funds for individual wards that can create a fund for our seniors so that we don't have to go through the channels of the mayor where we can actually have funding. So when our residents in our wards ask us for additional funding or programming for sidewalks, for trees, for assistance, period. These programs can be benefited through the sales of recreational marijuana. It's not a situation of, I understand that this city is in a great situation when it comes to financial supplies. But if you do not create and don't have the ideas for new additional programming or new additional revenues, then we are not doing our due diligence for our community or our residents, because I have not heard any other new means of generating additional funding for this city other than recreational marijuana usage.
Couple things, Councilman. Number one, I'm sure you don't realize it, but we're about to get a windfall of money from the Bell Oaks project. That's additional money. Number two, Ward 3, do you want a dispensary in your ward?
I don't care. If the people want one, I'm fine.
So you're saying your people want a dispensary in Ward 3?
I can tell you what I have researched, and I've talked to my people.
And they want a dispensary, recreational dispensary?
I have, most of them said yes, and some said no. So, do you want it in yours?
No.
You're in four. Do you want it in yours, Mo?
Yes. If it was able to come to my, but see, here's one more thing.
Hold on. Let me talk. Second, I asked you something the other day, and you said don't have an answer. Our fire chief, is marijuana tested before you can hire somebody?
No.
That's not correct. That's not correct. Recreational marijuana is regulated and is tested through the state.
Yes, employees are tested for marijuana prior to employment, yes. We have a drug-free workplace policy.
Do people that work for the city of Richmond Heights, are they tested for marijuana?
Yep, they're drug tested. They're fingerprinted and drug tested before they work.
In our community, we have to be aware that we're always making sure that our people are be able to get employment. We don't want to be a distraction for employment. If you're setting up where they're able to get easy access to marijuana, now these jobs are, even though it passed in the state, the jobs are saying we don't care. If you got marijuana in your system, you won't be employed. You won't be employed.
Council President.
So, no, let me talk. So we have a school over there that are putting out individuals who looking for jobs. We don't want to be able to put a product out or easy access for them to get this, because if they don't purchase it, somebody's going to purchase and sell it to them. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. We have to make sure, and that's why we're not saying no to it. We're saying let us do our due diligence. Let us research this. Let another city get a dispensary, and let's see how it affects them. We're not broke, so we don't need money. So we can slow walk this. We don't need money. We can slow walk it and see how it affects other cities. But if we go out there, and once the train leaves the station, you can't pull it back. It's too late. So let's just take our time. There's no rush.
I feel that is profound. I feel that what do another city has to do with Richmond Heights? We can't wait on another city to profit something that's beneficial to Richmond Heights. Council President, I've given you nothing. I've brought forth nothing but the positive support and benefits of recreational marijuana. And the only thing that you've brought forth is your own personal opinions. You have no supporting evidence of anything negative of the potential of having marijuana in the city of Richmond Heights, other than your own opinion of saying you don't want it. You haven't brought forth. I've brought forth the amount of money we can generate. I brought forth the safety benefits of marijuana in the city. I brought forth the monetary values and taxes that can be generated on recreational marijuana. But what you're arguing is to me and to this council and to the residents of Richmond Heights is your own personal opinions on why you don't want Richmond Heights to have marijuana. But you have no supporting negative evidence of not having Richmond Heights a facility of recreational marijuana. And I feel that that is an undermine of democracy when the city of Richmond Heights, regardless if these numbers are state numbers or city numbers, it's numbers. And the numbers of Richmond Heights has clearly supported recreational marijuana. So we are creating a true dictatorship here by not believing in the process of the vote.
Hold on one second. Councilman, you're right. My personal opinion, but my personal opinion doesn't matter on this. That's why we're saying, hold off, let us talk to our community and see what's best for our community. That's what we're saying. My personal opinion doesn't matter here. We're a body. I got one vote.
Yes.
I'm just one person living in this community. So that's why we had to take it to the community to see what our community. You're one person also.
Right, but the community
Right,
has voted
but
at
listen,
64.3%.
One at a time, one at a time.
Yes, Councilman.
Just, we need to have one person speaking at a time, please. That's all I just want to say.
Yes, Todd, you want to speak on the matter?
If the council wants information on what funds are available from cannabis businesses, there is a state excise tax of 10% on the profits of cannabis businesses. The local community, if it has a cannabis business, gets 36% of that 10%. Now, I have no idea what the revenues are going to be or what the profits are going to be from those cannabis businesses.
$1.6 billion.
Well, that's statewide. I don't
Yes.
know what a dispensary in Richmond Heights would bring in, number one. Number two, of course, is income tax, but these dispensaries don't employ a lot of people either, so.
There any other comments?
So isn't it true, though, that no matter what we do here, people in the city of Richmond Heights can vote, or can consume recreational marijuana? I mean, so that's what.
No, wait a minute. What do you mean by consuming? I think it's against the law to.
Well, no, it's not.
So you can smoke marijuana on the street?
Yes. Well, not in the streets.
Well, not in the street.
You
not in the
can't
street,
smoke it on the street.
Right, so then it's illegal.
You can buy it and smoke in your house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you can drink in your house.
And
that don't mean nothing.
So I mean, I guess what I'm
People
trying
been
to.
smoking in their houses before this passed for years.
Yeah.
What are you
Well,
saying?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to grapple with here is that people can buy marijuana here if it's sold here in Richmond Heights. They can buy it outside Richmond Heights if it's sold out there. But the result is the same. They're going to bring it and smoke it in their house or wherever they're going to smoke it, right? I mean, so that's why. I mean, it seems there's a logical disconnect in there somewhere.
I think people, because it passed, they think, oh, now we can smoke marijuana. Go out there and smoke it, walk up and down the street and see what happens. Just go ahead.
Council President, I have one more chime in, and I'm
That
done.
what people think. I'll get you. Okay. Councilman.
And to your question or answer about jobs testing, that is a way of life. That's a life decision. You don't have to smoke marijuana. If you're going into a positioning and you know that positioning requires for testing of marijuana, that's a life decision. That's a life choice. You don't have to do that if you don't. That's just like you don't have to drink if you don't want to. But to eliminate the options for someone to have their life choices is profound. This is the same prohibition of the I can't quite know. I don't know when prohibition of alcohol was eliminated, but we're going through the same process of prohibition of marijuana. And to deny the process of the people is, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I've said enough, and I stand firm on where I believe that this city has already spoken for.
Chief, I know you just walked in. Do you have any, you know I'm gonna get you in this. You tried to slide. You got any input on this recreational marijuana discussion?
Council President, members of council, I apologize for being late. We had a little domestic going on in our parking lot, so I was helping out with that. But everything worked out. But I'm sorry I didn't hear all the councilman's comments, but I stand with what this council has decided on recreational marijuana.
So we have an ordinance on the table. Do we have a vote?
I would like to move to take this to council.
Second?
Jordan.
No.
Lewis.
No.
Nelson.
Yes?
Robinson.
Yes.
Silver.
No.
Ursu.
Yes.
I love it.
Nothing goes.
Ordinance number 114-2024, introduced by Mayor Thomas, first reading. An ordinance amending section 1325.16, contractors insurance and cash bond deposit, and section 1335.06, evidence of insurance required of chapter 1325, permits and fees, and chapter 1335, contractor registration, procedures, suspension, and revocation of the building code of the codified ordinances of the city of Richmond Heights.
Mayor?
I'm going to defer to Todd on this one.
Okay. And I want to thank our Assistant Building Commissioner who came up with this issue of amending our building code to dispense with our deposit that we require of contractors. And I know that the finance director and assistant finance director are going to be very happy if this passes at some point. Because we've had issues with those deposits and returning those deposits to contractors after the job is finished. So in place of those deposits, there will be a bond requirement, a performance bond, a surety bond requirement of $25,000. And that will be on a yearly basis because our contractors who work in this community have to register every year. I know that Mr. Hilliard had proposed that this go into effect on January 1, since we've already taken deposits from contractors this year. And so this could be, go for 3 readings easily and go into effect on January 1. That's the essence of this.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay. Is this something, Mayor, that's can we hold it at first reading, or do we need it? This?
It can be held, yes.
Okay, let's hold it at first reading.
Okay, that needs to be moved to council for first reading.
Does it need to go to,
Yeah.
recommend to council?
For first reading.
Jordan.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes?
Robinson.
Yes.
Silver. Yes. Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution number 115-2024, introduced by Mayor Thomas, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to renew a contract with Green Vision Materials for the disposal of yard waste.
Mayor?
Ryan.
Yes, thank you. So this is our yearly contract with Green Vision. This is where we dump all of our wood chips, concrete, leaves, etc. This is every year. This is for the remainder of the 24 season and the 25 season. And asking to pass on emergency tonight so we can get it taken care of.
Okay. Any comment? Recommend to council?
Second.
Jordan.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes?
Robinson. Silver.
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution number 116-2024, introduced by Mayor Thomas, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with CT Consultants for geotechnical investigation and land surveying for the new gazebo project at Greenwood Farm Park.
Mayor?
Chelsea, do you want to speak on it, or Nora, would you like to speak on it?
Thank you, Council President and members of Council, Mayor. We have completed the initial study, conceptual study base for the gazebo when we did that back in January, February. So we were waiting for the historic preservation officer to come out to the site in order to approve location and the conceptual design. Once that got approved in June, we submitted the proposal to continue the full design for the gazebo to make that possible. So we are proposing, we have submitted two different proposals, which will be in, the other one will be in the resolution 117, but for this one is a geotechnical investigation and engineering with site survey. One of the reasons why we need to do that process is to have the soil, to do an investigation for the soil, so then we can have that information to design the structure and the foundation for the
Okay. Is this something, well, this project needs to move forward, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
move forward.
Okay.
We have the CDSG grant funding that has a sensitive deadline, which is at the end of February of 2025.
Okay. Is there any comments? Okay, recommended council.
Second?
Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Silver, Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution number 117-2024, introduced by Mayor Thomas, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with CT Consultants for professional architectural design, construction documentation, and project bidding services for the new gazebo project at Greenwood Farm Park.
Mayor?
Nora?
Yes, thank you. So this is the follow-up where we do the architectural and structural design for the gazebo and to complete the project.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure that we submit two different proposals to give you the opportunity if you want to shop around for fee or services. So we decided to do those two proposals separately.
Okay. Recommended council.
Second.
Jordan,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution number 118-2024, introduced by Mayor Thomas, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into purchase agreements for the renewal of annual subscription services with Lexipol LLC for the development and ongoing support of standard operating procedures for the divisions of fire and police.
Mayor?
I'm going to defer to my chiefs, so Chief Newman or Chief Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President. Lexipol is a subscription service that supports our online policies and procedures manual. That's used for developing an ongoing support of standard operating procedures for the divisions of fire and police. Lexipol ensures the policies are up to date and legally defensible. The incorporated policy training component reinforces the staff's understanding of policy and provides individual training acknowledgement. Lexipol ensures that PD and FD don't struggle with ill-fitting policies borrowed from other sources. Relying on inconsistent, out-of-date, and incomplete policies for guidance places our city at an increased risk and potential for legal liability. The amount of the fire subscription is $9,067.17 and was approved in the 2024 budget under contractual line 203-1352-100. The renewal will begin October 1st, 2024 and end on September 30th, 2025. The cost of the PD is $10,262.37. They have more policies than we do. And the total for both divisions is $19,329.54. The police department's Lexipol subscription was approved also in the annual budget.
Comment? Anybody? Need this?
Yes.
Recommended council.
Second.
Jordan?
Yes.
Lewis? Nelson?
Yes.
Robinson? Silver?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
Before we adjourn this meeting, correspondence, tomorrow we do have a workshop here from 6 to 8. We'll be working on ordinances. We'll be cleaning up ordinances that we currently have. There is a band in the park, and also there is National Night Out. So there's a lot of things happening in Richmond Heights. Any comment? Yes.
Supplied a memo to council, the mayor, and some of the staff today for having gone through the zoning code and looking at some issues that you may be interested in discussing tomorrow night or not. So
Okay.
hopefully it's helpful to you.
Okay. I'm glad you sent those, because that way we can be prepared and have a look before we, just one second. Yes. You want to be here? I think it's a lot of you guys would not be here, but unfortunately, we have to get some work done because I can't work around everybody's schedule, so, yeah.
I'm just letting you know that I won't be here.
Okay, okay. Before we adjourn this meeting, I just want to say congratulations to our mayor. She was state-appointed delegate for the Democratic National Convention, so she will be leaving on Sunday, going to Chicago. This is a big thing with the political climate, and hopefully she'll put us on the map. Yes. And with that, yeah, we'll in council meeting now, I will let the community speak. We're going to adjourn this meeting.
So, Mr., you'll be acting mayor then while she's gone? Absolutely. So we should call you if there's another storm.
Councilman, I'll still have my phone on 24/7, so you can still get in touch with me. But while I'm gone, President will be the acting mayor. For emergencies, call my chiefs.
This meeting is adjourned.